What?
Bruce. Oh, Angela. 1 minute ke udara.
Thirty seconds. Okay.
Okay. Huh? Boleh.
You want more pillow ke?
No lah, okay. Relax ah.
Okay, recording good.
I'm not going on CNN, okay? Relax lah. I've gone on all the big.
Yeah, relax. You already the expert already.
Yeah lah. After 28 years, what is there, you know?
Yeah, man. Piece of cake, man. Oh, now perfect, man. Your picture perfect.
Yeah lah, it's like going like, yes, Datuk Seri, lu mau apa? Malam-malam kasih kacau sama gua. Ini hungry ghost kah? Belum lagi kan? Sudah habis? Alah, sudah habis.
Belum lagi.
Hungry ghost. Oh, now is the mooncake coming up. Laura, ada siapa lagi ya?
Okay.
Wait.
The live in.
Sudah makan ya, Datuk Seri? Dah makan?
Hi, good evening, Malaysia and around the globe. Tonight, we are thrilled to have with us Chef Wan, the one and only Chef Wan.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Introduction.
One and only.
Our Malaysian celebrity chef, television host, actor, restaurant owner, an entrepreneur. He's also a social media influencer, a commentator. In short, Chef Wan is everything and anything. So tonight, he can cook up a storm, he can cook anything and everything. He doesn't have any specific topic tonight. So this evening, Datuk, kita bersantai, berborak sajalah. Kita berlawak.
No problem. No
Yes,
problem. To
we will not.
As they say, Chef Wan, jack of all trades, trying to master them all. One for all and all for one. Semua sapu macam rojak dalam pinggan lah. Huh?
Yes. So we will have only one main course. That is Malaysian food. So for rojak ke, dessert ke, side dish, we let it go free for all. Tonight we will just worry about food. And we will just talk about Chef Wan. We don't care who is going to be the next Prime Minister. But who is Chef Wan?
But we do care when is our next meal, and it better be a delicious one.
Right.
And of course, you know, with Malaysian cuisine, we never fail anybody lah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Dato', you
yes.
know that we have just celebrated National Day. We have just celebrated Malaysia Day. So that's why we chose this day to talk to Chef Wan about Malaysian food. Many Malaysians, for example, are not aware that we have very unique food. It's a blend of the Malay, the Chinese, Indian culture. Take for example, we eat mee mama a lot, but we know that in India, there's no such thing as yellow noodles. We talk about this chicken chop, and we know that in Western countries, there are no chicken chop. Okay, it's uniquely Malaysian. Chef, share with us your view of the Malaysian food in Malaysia now. Are we heading anywhere? Are we going to be better than Singapore in terms of presentation, in terms of selling our Malaysian food? Because we have not made a claim for UNESCO heritage, while Singapore has already done so. How do we raise the bar? Instead of just doing char kway teow by the roadside, how do we upgrade ourselves?
You know what? If you ask my opinion, I never really believe in, you know, claiming food up to all this UNESCO thing and all that lah, you know. I personally believe, you know, food has always, you know, been that bridge, you know, that connects to people. As you know, over many centuries, you know, from back to the Millennium period, you know, to the Greek civilization, the Roman Empire, the Byzantine, and then of course you got the what do you call that? You know, the Rome, what do you call that? You know, others empire like even in China, and then we have also the Mogul and all that. So from one century to another, from one corner of the earth to another, you know, people have enjoyed food especially in so many ways lah, yeah, and its form of gathering, and of course, you know, as we all know, if we study history, food has always, you know, been that very important factor that not just connect people, but also where civilization moved from one place to another, in terms of either, you know, during war, when invasion, for example, of one country to another, and then the migration of people, which is so important. You see people migrate all the time. Even today, you see this cross culture from Middle East and all that, you know, going, you know, from Africa and all that to Europe. And even years ago, you don't see, if you go to Germany, for example, you don't see a lot of all those Middle Eastern food. Now, for example, in Munich, every corner now, you see is none other than all these Iranian restaurant, Middle Eastern restaurant, you know. And for example, London, okay lah, we know kan, all these Pakistani, these all. So that's why when you think about it, I've always felt that, you know, why do people always need to claim something that is them, you know? And I think that's very, I think that's not proper lah. Not proper in the sense that, you know, we human beings, you know, have this tendency of always greed, you know, for power. We lust for this. We always want something, you know, that is very belonging to us, so that we can proudly talk to the world or share to the world and say that this is ours. But often that we think, you know, a lot of makanan kita ni evolve, yeah, and datang juga kata, you know, from all these ancestors that brought, you know, into our country, and it's hard to really define the originality of a lot of things as well. But again, you know, some of the food you do see that because they are created from the very beginning, you know, by many of the chefs in the beginning in this country, and then it becomes a part of us, you know. For example, that nasi lemak thing you see kan, you know, nowhere that except kita will have that kind of style of doing things. And that's why you notice it's very, you know, Malaysian punya ni. And again, just now, you know, you mentioned a few other dishes as well. So that's why I feel, you know, let people claim what they want to claim now. Because, for example, in our religion, in Islam, we always believe food is universal. Yeah,
Yes.
just like anything. Yeah. So that's why if you see also in the Quran, it says, God always mention, you know, like dijadikan bintang, langit, bumi dan malam. You know, I create all this, he says, you know, and I want human being to berdagang, means to trade among each other, to live in harmony, prosperous and all that. And even after that, you know, we might marry each other, marriage and all that, and then form different clan and community and live in prosperity. Yeah, so that's why even before our religion also came in, also there were many other religions also accepted by God, and food has always been a center at the table for everyone to enjoy. So I think it's such a waste of time for us human beings today to, you know, argue or to fight or to quarrel about this belong to us, this belong to that. But at the end of the day, we forget that everything is created by God Almighty, the Creator. You know, whichever way you want to call God. I'm not a priest, okay? I'm not a food priest, but I just want to make people to put some sensible thing into people's mind. No, I mean, I'm sick and tired of hearing of people always, you know, arguing about food and all that. I say, my God, I said, food is supposed to be something that we celebrate together. Yeah, and then why? I mean, we fight about territory, which island belong to us, ini tanah kita, and then border pun bergaduh, pulau, everything pun kita take claim, you know, and we become like, you know, it's crazy, and then even to today, you see lah, you know, it's endless, kan, fighting over this, over that, and then like never-ending story. But why can we have a lot of gratitude, enjoy what we have in this country, you know, and learn to appreciate and learn to improve the quality of food so that we can spread love to every human being. We can spread this beautiful cuisine to everyone enjoying around the world, not just us in the country, but also to attract people. And that's very true that, you know, our cuisine has never failed to attract anyone around the world. So any country out there can claim whatever they want to claim lah. So that's why I never like to say, oh, this rendang is Malaysian, this Indonesian, this whatever. But you know what, even from Indonesia, you know, God knows where they come from in the olden time. You know, they come down from, you know, the ancient, what they call that, cavemen, from Zaman Batu also, you don't know. You know, who knows? You know, nobody knows when, because food, you know, evolve, you know. So that's why I always tell people. Then from there also, a lot of all these also migrated, as we know. Malaysia, we have a lot of all this cross culture of many kind of people, you know. We study history enough. And so that's why I want people to be a bit like, you know, sometimes be a bit more rational, think wisely, that in the end of the day, you know, you get to nothing, you know, about fighting about who's and what about food and all that. But the one thing I am very sure, if we are very proud of our cuisine, then all our cooks and chefs and people in this whole nation must learn to take a few steps more level to prepare our food in a much better way, more refined, more healthy, and blah blah blah. As of course, we need to evolve today to move from where we are before, kan? And today our lifestyle is different, all that, and therefore the food also needs to slowly change lah, to adapt to our evolving and the way how we human being progress, you know, according to where we are right now, and then we move forward and all that. So I think that's far more important.
Dato', I want to connect. I want to follow up to the statement that you made. You know that I come from Penang. I love my char kway teow. I love my nasi kandar. And of course, in Penang, many of these good hawkers, they're already at their. Many of them are getting old. Their children do not want to be hawkers, or they have given up. They say they're too tired. We can't do it anymore. And of course, in Penang, they have this advisory that says that foreigners should not be cooking. So if you're Bangladeshi or if from India, you cannot do char kway teow. Okay, now if we go by that kind of logic, Chef Wan, you can't be cooking French food. What is your take on that?
I give you one example. One thing about food, you know, like I said, you know, is a form of knowledge as well. Cuisine, you know, handling recipe, teaching people how to cook and all that. It's a form of knowledge as well, you know. So you cannot stop knowledge from being what you call that, you know, passed on, you know, regardless of who they are. Anyone wants to learn. For example, if let's say, you know, we have some of our own children going to France or Paris or Switzerland or Japan, for example. We see a lot of Malaysian chefs. They also go to Japan to work, to understudy, to do apprentice and all that. And suddenly the Japanese or the French government say, hey, tak boleh, cannot, because you are, what, you're Malaysian, you're not French enough. What is that? Have you heard about that? I don't, but in this country, we do that. So for me, when you do such a thing, whether you want to protect your food or you want, there are many ways of how to improve your food and protect your food. But you don't go out there and simply discriminate people, and it becomes racist, you know. Become racist when you say you can do this, you cannot do that, and all that. And I always tell people, before you do something like that, put yourself in that shoe lah. If it's not for you, maybe your children in the future kan pergi other country and people do that. What do you say? I think you all have the answer already. So that's why for me, anyone can learn. I make one example, okay? Many years ago, you talk about Bangla, masak Penang, Bangla, masak rendang, apa Pakistan, like what is wrong if they can cook all those kind of food? We Malaysian, I pun belajar buat Pakistani berani, buat juga Bangladesh curry, Indian ni apa semua. I learn. I went to India, I went to Pakistan to film my series and went to learn to make chapli kabat, you know, Hyderabad biryani and all that. And nobody in India or anywhere tell me, stop, what you cannot talk like because you're not Indian enough, you know. But Malaysia, we do that. I felt like last time I want to cekik this, what's his name? Ling Wan Eng, Eng Wan Ling, apa? Dia punya nama selalu, I met him on the plane, and I talked to him about this subject. He just smiled, you know. And I said, this is nonsense. The thing is, you know, we have to understand, you know, like I said, you know, like many years ago, I was in Dubai, okay? I was in Dubai for a food festival, and then I was at the Sheraton Hotel. I got up for lunch, and then out of the conference room I got for lunch, and then I kind of like walk, and then I smell even from the door like this. Hey, why this thing smell a bit like rendang? Kenapa ni macam bau sate ni? And I am going into this room, and then you know what? I saw there, chicken rendang, nasi tomato. I saw here also sate Malaysia. And some more they use that, you know, sate Malaysia, rendang ayam Malaysia, all that. And then I asked the boy, I said, oh, are you Malaysian? Oh, no, chef, I'm from Pakistan. And then who's it? Oh, this bang, any Malaysian here? Oh, no, you all Bangladesh. Oh, I said, where do you learn how to cook all this food and then promote some of our food, you know, in another country? You know, and then I tasted, oh my God, I'm telling you, even some of the rendang and the nasi tomato, as well as what do you call that, whatever that dish that they serve satay and all that, some of our local chef also cannot buat sesedap itu. And you know what they tell me? Chef Wan, I know you. I say, oh, thank you. I'm so famous. You know, they know me even in Dubai. And you know what, Chef Wan? I've been your big fan. When I was working in Genting Highland for 8 years, I learned all this from all my Genting chef. I was doing this, assistant chef. So I look at him, I said, isn't that fabulous that, you know, today we also have other chefs that are not Malaysian who also went abroad after working in this country to promote this. And this is not just here, also on cruise ship, you see many nationality, many chefs across the world today will cook a variety of different food and all that, and then we cross culture in one another. So that's why I'm saying that, like, what is so wrong about another nationality masak char kway teow and all that? Kalau tak bagus, kita ajarlah, kan? Kita ajarlah. Then kenapa? A lot of problem with our society here is that you just throw people behind the wall and then you expect miracle to perform ke? Kan? So this is wrong. So that's why I said, you know, just like my chef, you know, in how many days, I remember when we opened 58 days ke, our D1 restaurant, you know, we fired 7 or 8 chefs. Because you know why? We are very particular about their discipline, about their attitude, and then we want to see how much are they passionate about the food, or simply just masak for the sake dapat gaji and lempar saja. And this our Malay chef. Pun ada juga yang setengah sifat-sifat macam ni, berpolitik dalam dapur and all that. So that's why sometimes I rather have a good Bangladesh or Pakistani or Myanmar or Vietnamese or whatever you're going to call it, as long as they want to learn and they appreciate and they're passionate, they want to do and do that in the best, and then you got the job. Simple kan? So tu sebab Wan cakap, kadang-kadang orang menyaga ni, kalau tak ada resipi yang sedap, berusahalah. You know, like I always say, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Di mana ada kemahuan, di situ ada jalan. Kita bukan tak ada pelajaran, bukan bodoh. Hari ni buka TV, melambat-lambat cooking show. Buka YouTube, melambat-lambat orang ajar masak. Buka cookbook, tak nak buku Chef Wan tu. Macam-macam buku pun boleh belajar, boleh test resipi. So why are we not spending time doing R&D and always so happy with the bloody food that they always cook? You know, sometimes we see in the hotel, I felt like strangling some of the chef. Are you happy with this nasi goreng? Are you happy with this laksa nyonya? This is not laksa nyonya. One incident, I had to quarrel with the chef at the Mandarin. I'm telling you, for the first time, you know, because boy, he served the laksa nyonya really like me bandung. I come from the nyonya family lah. Hello, lu mau bohong sama gua kah? Gua punya nenek 3 generation lah. My grandmother died 98, okay? My grandmother 996, died 96, okay? Peranakan from Singapore. And my mother is now going to be 90, have yet to die. I am already 63 years old, and my son is 38. We got 5 generations making that laksa kari, laksa nyonya in my restaurant, okay? So don't come and tell me that this laksa nyonya is really nyonya. I tahulah. Kalau tak tahu, I cakap the chef. I call the chef. Masa ni dekat Mandarin cafe. So I saw the chef. I said, come sini kita. I tanya dia, chef, I think 2 years ago ke pun I makan pun sama juga macam ni. Apa asal tak ubah-ubah? Saya dah bagi tahu awak dulu kan, that this is not laksa nyonya macam mi Bandung. Why the colour like that? Then I call the F&B manager. I said, Chef Wan, thank you for commenting about this, because we have a lot of customer yang come in also complain about the laksa. So my question in front of the chef, I said, kalau orang dah ramai komplain, kenapa tak ditukar? So I tanya the chef, awak ni dah makan ke, pernah makan laksa nyonya ke? To produce tak laksa nyonya belum? Tak pernah, chef. So mana belajar ni daripada chef dulu, bawa turun. So the thing is that, you know, if you are head chef and you tak pernah makan laksa nyonya, pergilah restoran nyonya banyak. Lu pergi Melaka apa? Lu buat cekik apa? Kan lu turun naik Melaka bukan tak pernah pergi. So this is my simple question. You are a chef. You you're a chef, you know. It drives me nuts when you're a chef and you don't become adventurous. You are not. That's why it's very important. I travel all over the world like many chefs, you know. And one time, I'm telling you, I was at the Hyatt Saujana many years ago filming my cooking show. There was this French executive chef who tell me, Chef Wan, can we have some of your recipe inside our restaurant? Because you know why, we want to sell on the menu Chef Wan rendang ka, Chef Wan laksa lah, Chef Wan whatever lah. And I say, but using my name, I don't think so lah. But you know, you give the recipe, so every single bowl that somebody eat, we will give a certain percentage of royalty to you. I say, no lah, no need royalty, because my recipe is for everybody. If you open the cookbook, it's all there already. I say, apa susah? In my cook show also, I give everything 100%. It's all there. All you need to do is just go and cari. I tell the chef. So the chef said, our food now, a lot of people complain about our noodle. Then why did your chef improve? So then he called it. Can I call my chef? So he called his Malay chef. Come out lah, keluar. So the chef said, hello, Chef Wan. So then can you please, what do you call that? Tell Chef Wan, you know, I also want to, because I just came to this country and I also want to learn how to cook Malaysian food. For the last 6 months, I'm telling you, Chef Wan, in front of this chef, he's the one who's recommending me. When I came, I said, I want to learn how to cook Malaysian. He said, buy Chef Wan's cookbook. So I've been buying the cookbook and turned out to be my fried noodle, my kway teow that I learned from your cookbook is even better than the chef in your buffet table. So I said, then why don't you tell the chef? I said, because I want the chef to listen from your mouth today that actually there is such thing as Chef Wan cookbook. And because of that, I want him to understand that. Why didn't he learn? I said, I don't know. Because for me, if I'm not happy with my recipe, I will go on testing R&D. This is the thing, you know, sometimes you notice a lot of our people are lazy, you know. They all want to, you want to be a chef, you cannot be lazy. You know, you want to be a chef, you know, whether you are teaching, whether you are, you know, promoting any cuisine, whether, you know, whether it's Italian, whether whatever, it's a constant effort of always trying to work and improve. I have this thing in me from the time when I was young, growing up, until now. I'm old also. We're still testing menu. Just a while ago, when we were talking with you and all that, before we start, I was talking to my executive chef, Zabidi. He was going to do this special Asian, what they call it, pumpkin with seafood curry, which I taught him last time, how to make a nice pumpkin with a bit of tuna inside and tom yum paste and all that, and then becomes very lovely pumpkin. So when he had it once, he said, wow, sedap, chef. So this time he said, oh, what about if I'm going to do a dinner for any chef? What can I give him some idea, like, what if we put this seafood and then cucuk like that, and then kita kasih on the coconut, fill the coconut like the otak-otak, like what you always suggest, and then we put the soup inside there. And I said, the presentation is nice. When you poke with the bamboo, with all the seafood is nice. But you know, you cannot just blend the seafood, rebus like that. Sedap. You bakar lah sikit, kasih wangi. Bila bakar, the color, the texture, then you chop some of the seafood inside, saute with a bit of tom yum paste and put some coconut and then throw inside the soup. So when people makan, rasa the seafood. But even that, I tak setuju 100% apa you cakap, kerana chef, very seldom orang kalau buat pumpkin soup, it's already sweet, manis. Kalau kita nak taste pumpkin sweet to manis and seafood pun manis, you will drown the flavor of the seafood. So why is the seafood going into the pumpkin? But never mind, since you have suggested that, I'm not, who am I to say what is wrong is what me, but there is such thing when we learn French cuisine, the professional way, you don't do those kind of things because it will just ruin the flavor. Because you know, macam crab meat also macam tu. Kalau kita masuk nanti dia lari dengan ni, dia tak nak overwhelm by ni. So that's why there's certain specific technique where you learn how to do and prepare and put ingredient together in whatever cuisine you do, but learn the professional way. But since, you know, given the fact that you want to do it, and I pun, who am I to say, but I cannot go by the, I have my rules, but then I'm also open to your suggestions. So let's test it out. Let me try. Let's talk about it and all that before we put this on the menu. You get me or not? So I have my view, but I also have to respect my other chef view and give him also a bit of room for creativity. Betul tak? You know, so maybe, you know, he might say that dia tak setuju because he the way that. So let's do it. And maybe some of my guests might just like seafood in the pumpkin. They don't even care because they don't know the sweet of the pumpkin, whether they can pair together with the seafood, with the crab meat and all the seafood that is okay or not. Some people, they just swallow anything sedap means finish. So I don't know, you know. So this is the kind of thing, like I said, you know, the problem is, you know, kita boleh improve makanan kita, tapi kan kita memang really need lah, a kind of like a proper Asian Culinary Academy, ataupun we do a street food academy. I really want the government to be very serious about doing this, because I felt like we are always slamming the pasar malam punya orang, slamming the gerai, all these warung-warung menyaga and all that, but then what are we doing about it, kan? And all those people bukan ada sekolah tinggi, kan? Buka warung-warung menyaga gerai pun kadang-kadang dah tak sekolah tinggi, tak tahu apa lagi nak buat, so dia kata kita menjagalah, dapat 1-2 resepi sedap sikit boleh jual, asalkan laku, boleh cari makan, jalan. And then how people are very comfortable. Dapat aja duit, kahwin bini 2. Dapat aja duit, kereta beli 2. Semua mau beli 2. Tapi bila nak bagi pekerja, nak bayar gaji chef, kena code. Ambil chef pula tak ada tauliah, tak ada apa, tak kan. Kemudian tak ada bagi training, tak ada apa, malas, lepas tu tak tengok, tak jadi bila kita ambil orang-orang yang tak sesuai untuk kejaya sebagai tukang masak ni, maka datanglah sifat-sifat manusia yang frustrated, disappointed, malas. Malas is a very funny thing, because when you are lazy, it means you don't care lah. You don't care. When you don't care, that's why you never clean after you chop, you never bother even your chopping board clean. Kadang-kadang the chopping board, ya Allah, hitam nak mampus. Sometimes some of the bloody housewife at home also I've seen, on the cooking show, for God's sake, rendamlah klorok kan, itu papan itu plastik tu kan. Kadang-kadang berkulat-kulat because they don't understand about this food contamination. Bila masak, jangkitan kuman apa benda, they don't care. Hitam macam mampu pun dia pakai juga benda. And sometimes when you look at them, it's so disgusting, that dah lah dapur dia berlendir penuh dengan hijau, dengan linen, and this put on TV, okay? I've seen it before. So that's why, don't talk about housewife kat rumah yang pengotor lah. Even tukang-tukang masak kat luar, it's all about habit. Kalau you manusia yang jadi bersih, you are very particular. You're very particular because you will make sure that you jaga, because the minute kalau sesuatu orang kata penyakit datang, cerit-berit, that it will destroy your business. It will destroy. So you want to jaga image. So that's why when I go into my restaurant, it's almost like when I have my white glove test. Bising, I talk to macam clean up. I don't want to see anything. Everything has to be super clean. So by the time they leave, I make sure. And I tell my chef Zabidi, get them done. Even their uniform. Kalau kotor, tukar. Even we have to change, tukar. Because I do not want to see dirty apron. I do not want to see, because I want them clean. Their knife. So by the time they masak every night, they have to sanitize all the cutting board, rendam, klorok, rendam, basuh, to make sure that everything clean. The floor has to be clean. Pick anything jatuh pun angkat. I call always, anything basah pun I call the steward. Hey, masuk, lap. Because you know what? I want to make sure that my kitchen is super clean. It's so important. It's all about attitude. Kan? Sama juga. So that's why I feel in this country, the government need to do something. Kita hantam sana, hantam sini, cakap sini. Kita sekarang kadang-kadang pergi dekat belakang kedai, tangkap orang basuh pinggan dekat ni, tapi hot sekejap sajalah. Raid sana, raid sini. Lepas tu rasuah masuk pagi, masuk ingat, lepas. Tak ada kena fine. Kena fine pun besok datang balik, jalan. Ada jadi. I dengar from all my chefs semua tahu. Boleh, tak ada orang Malaysia boleh, kita kasih masuk je duit jalan chef. Tak ada, kita kasih makan 4-5 orang jalan pun boleh jalan sudah makan. Cekik ciap boleh liau makan free, sudah tak jadi saman. Okay, next time ni kan. Ada jadi, So that's why perkara ni tak ni. Tapi I feel if we are dead serious, we really need to form some kind of a body. I know I don't want to say a ministry, a minister, but this country should, because if we take serious about our food now, we should have a department. I don't know bahawa kementerian apa ke atau a minister, takkan kata I don't know how big but it's possible to have minister of food or whatever, in charge of everything from cleanliness to whatever to quality of food, and then training all these chef, pembangunan, usahawan, train all these tukang-tukang masak dekat warung, dekat gerai, kat mana sajalah, tak kira lah Cina ke Melayu ke apa. Kita Malaysia ni orang kata birds of all feathers, we might not flock together, but although we work, but we can always bersatu, bekerja and boleh train. Chinese chef ni association, Indian, Melayu ke apa ke whatever will go in as a group, and then this group will go in, to provide recipes, kita train, improve the quality and all that, and they pay lah a small amount ke, or the government fund ke, daripada duit pergi banyak-banyak corruption tu, lagi baik lah sampai tampal duit dekat dinding apa semua tu, itu duit lebih baik kasih belanja, masuk itu ministry, dah tentu kita hari-hari makan sedap tepi jalan tu lah. You know, I'm telling you. So this thing, kita talk all this about food, but we never serious about that. You know, kita tak ada orang yang in charge of dalam tu untuk jaga, you know, in true sense. Bawah kementerian tak tahulah nak apa, tak tahu kementerian kesihatan ke, kementerian pelancongan ke, I don't know, you know. So you need that. So when you have a body like that who seriously look into you know, building up all this food, you know, because we eat every day, kan? That's why I didn't understand why kita tak improve kita punya warung-warung ni. Yes, it's nice, you know, but then we also need to progress, kan? Because you know, need to do proper ni so that it's clean, people can cook properly, so that people don't throw all that. And tak adalah tikus sebesar-besar apa kucing, kan, merayap sana sini dekat bangsa. Yo, in all places bangsa. Sampai sekarang pun takut nak makan kat bangsa tu sebab benda-benda macam ni. Sebab apa? You know, all these tikus punya barang kan kadang-kadang lipas keluar semua takut, you know, because tak ada kebersihan. So this is something lah, I say we need seriously to set. For example, in your Penang, okay, they can start some kind of like an institute for street food. So you put lah inside there, sell all the char kway teow. You got 10 different style of making char kway teow, semua sedap. Put that recipe, SOP, everything kan, ajar. So in all this class of orang nak menyaga ni, ya, khusus what they call it usahawan. Example lah, I said, kita ajar sanitation, cleanliness and all that. And then you have other body pula to go and check, you know, whether they do this ke, tidak ke. They have to follow a certain, orang kata SOP as well, of all that. And then, you know, that is a constant thing. And then quality of food. Where do they get the food? We have to see. Sometimes you tengok kadang-kadang they just butchered because they don't understand about all these food ingredient and all that. You know, benda macam sampah pun dia masuk. Ajinomoto satu mangkuk pun dia buat dalam sup pun, dalam sup kambing, sup apa benda macam. Wah, banyak sedap sampai pukul 3 pagi pun orang Malaysia mencekik. Pukul 5 pagi pun mencekik juga. Dia tak tahu apa dalam rebus tak apa-apa benda, tak tahu stokin mamak tu ke, coli bini dia masuk dalam rebus pun you don't know dalam pasembu tu kan. You don't know that, you know. And sometimes, you know, they use food colouring which can cause cancer dalam nasi biryani dia, all that. Ada. All this, no, macam-macam. Tapi nobody went to take that, to go and analyze, and then find, shit, man, this thing actually is very bad. What cause orang banyak yang banyak kena kencing manis ni? Jualan makanan-makanan yang kuih-kuih yang terlampau banyak gula, this kan. So somebody need to monitor that. And kita kan, manusia ni kan, I'm telling you, you have to really pakai leash jugalah. You cannot just let go free, cincai. Apa ada depan semua cekik, you know. Pergi pasar malam kadang-kadang goreng ayam tu kalau you tengok, ya Allah, my goodness, I tell you, itu air macam itu Sungai Kelang longkang pun lagi cantik tau. Itu minyak dia punya bukan air, itu minyak hitam macam minyak tap kan. Dah semua gelap, lampu tak nampak. Mak bapak ni bilang kan, oh makan, beli buat bagi tak nampak kan, bagi anak balik makan. All this cause cancer, cause many things. So, but who actually went out to look at all this? You know, whether their food when they arrive at the pasar malam pukul 3, pukul 4 tengah hari to set up, got proper refrigeration or not. Sini bikin ayam percik, panggang, asam ni. Tapi dalam tak ada peti ais, tak ada ice box, tak ada letak. Itu ayam duduk, all the Sam Manila dalam tu kuman sudah masuk. Nobody care. From the pagi, they marinate the chicken, don't know where they put. Banyak-banyak dalam fridge pun, nobody look. Semua makan. Kuih manis-manis, kadang-kadang kalau you tengok, ayo, you put in your mouth kan, manis nak mampu. How many tons of gula? So gula is something when you get used to it, every day you nak lagi. And then we wonder why kita Malaysia ni, masak semua manis, letak gula, letak ni, why kita Malaysia ni banyak yang kena kencing manis, ya, kadar sangat tinggi, know that kan. Because why kita tak ada, tak ada orang yang memantau. Is that the word? Sorry, my bahasa so very, my English so very market, very pasar, you know. So you know me lah, tak ada orang yang menengok, memantaukan benda ni apa, tak ada apa. So benda tu jalan. Lepas tangan, slip off the finger. Budak-budak pun kat sekolah tak ajar properly pasal pemakanan apa semua, pasal gardening, pasal understanding food. Padahal kan these are the thing yang kita hidup hari-hari tau. I kadang-kadang heran tau budak-budak sekarang. You tanya dia kalau boleh bezakan zucchini dengan cucumber dengan telur, dia tak tahu. Nampak terung pun penuh. Macam kat Singapura lah, saya bila keluar mak dia pergi supermarket Johor Singaporean, my god, ada chicken, my god, no, pergi rumah kampung ini jangan nampak ayam kan, pasar market kan dia telanjang kan, tak ni. Lepas tu bila dia pergi tu kampung trip pergi Melaka, this whole bus Singapore. Oh no, it was lagi 9. I was there filming in kampung Lonek, whatever I remember. And then about homestay. And then the whole bus come from Singapore and the children all come down. The children running. Wow, suddenly like macam jakun like that, no. Tengok all the rumah-rumah kampung lari sana. Oh ma, the chicken got feathers. Excited. This Chinese boy all excited. Tell the mother the chicken got feathers. Because why they never see chicken with feathers? Dia nampak ada pokok itu apa? Itu kampung punya pokok itu nangka, dia peluk sampai jatuh itu buah nangka. Imagine excited sangat. Because why? Dia tak tahu, tak biasa dengan ini. Because they don't know where the source of food, they don't know where they come from and all that. They don't care, the parent don't care. And then we also eat the styrofoam, lepas makan buang sampah, tak ada apa. I think this country we have a lot to educate people lah. Tak?
Okay.
Banyak benda boleh buat.
Okay, Chef Wan, before we continue, we want to name some people who have been sending their messages, sending their love to you. I will start off with I will start with Fauzia Abu Bakar Tingan, who sent her love from Tawau. We have Chong Kai Wai from Melbourne, and we have it's a long list of people from all around the world.
Thank you. God, I'm so famous from all over the world. Really. You don't believe in a show. While Queen Elizabeth will also send something to me. You never know.
Okay, Chef.
Yes.
You have started your second outlet. I mean, you were really busy at your restaurant in Jalan Tun Razak, and now you have opened the second one in Bangi. Can you tell us more about your Bangi outlet?
Okay, for a long time, I also wanted, after observing Ling, I noticed that every weekend we serve about 700 to 800. The dining room is literally filled. It's almost like when you go into a big Chinese restaurant, but you see a Malay restaurant. All the tables are like table of 10, table of 10, table of 10. Every day. Every weekend, people are fighting for table to celebrate birthday, anniversary lah. The only thing they don't celebrate, bila mak bapak mati lah. Itu kenduri rumah lah. But other than that, anything lah, graduation ke apa, they will celebrate. So I thought how wonderful, in the last 1 year at the Link, I'm noticing that so many family come together. Adik-beradik datang, and it makes me so happy to watch that people eat at their table, enjoy food, getting to know each other and all that. And it's wonderful, kan? It's wonderful because it does bring family together. So then I was thinking, how many of such restaurants do exist, in this country, especially makanan Malaysia kita, yang sedap, yang kita boleh jual untuk keluarga. So then I thought, wow, let's look at kawasan macam Bangi, banyak orang, family yang duduk, I saw. And then around the area pun, I tengok, ada Kajang, ada Nilai. During the MCO, we have a lot of people order food as far as Nilai, Seremban, banyak. All from Rawang we order all. So then I was thinking, wow, sampai jauh-jauh pun orang order. Because why? Because they cannot come to KL. Ada yang boleh datang pun tak kuasa nak datang. So perhaps, we can create one restaurant there that everybody can also enjoy the same thing that happened at the Link. And this is true. Last weekend, the same thing I see at the Link happened also at Bangi. We were full house. So when I look at that, and then I also realize around that area also kita ada Putrajaya, kita ada Cyberjaya, kita ada all that. So I was telling my partner, I cakap Andre, so these are the people yang kita nak, be able to come and enjoy and also dine with their family at our restaurant. Now, in the daytime, kita ada banyak public servant kan. Cyberjaya, Putrajaya, we also have people around Bangi, UKM, Universiti Kebangsaan, Universiti Pertanian, UPM, so all that kan. Semua ada around the area. So, Sri Kembangan. So, all this, can also use our restaurant lah untuk business meeting ke apa ke. So, then I see also the hotel, because when it was offered to us, it was in the hotel lah, at Bangi Resort. Before it was a Chinese restaurant, halal Chinese restaurant called Phoenix. And when they closed down, so we were given the opportunity to take that over. So I decided, wow, we have all the kitchen, everything all ready, still, baru and all that. So all we need to do is just do all this macam orang kata facelift lah, kan? And then make the image, get contractor to do exactly like what we have at the Link. Same style, same design, all that. So we call it D1. 1958 is the year of my birth. D1 1958, Bangi. So there's always going to be something Bangi, Damansara, Shah Alam, Johor Bahru. Next is Johor Bahru.
So this Chef Wan, I realized that you do not really cook that often at home. And that unless your mother is around, you actually do not cook. You really tapao. So why is it that
Who tell you this?
cook?
Berdosa fitnah tau. I masak. Siapa cakap I tak masak selalu? I masak. Tapi sesekali pun memang I tapau jugalah.
And that those of us who follow your social media following, we realize that you really love your mother. And he has sent a very positive messages to young Malaysians who, when they watch your video, they say, oh, I really need to show the same kind of love for my parents and for my mother. How is your mother now, who has also become a celebrity because of your video?
She's fine. She just went upstairs to have a sleep because she goes to bed at 8:30. So she take her medication, all that, and she's ready to bed. And I mean, my mother, her hearing has gone actually. One side 20%, the other side no cent, 0 cent I think. Because I keep screaming, tak ada. Next time mau beli macam itu apa? Itu megaphone lah they call it. Hello, hello, mak. Must call like that. Aku tak dengar. So anyway, they refuse to nak pakai the hearing. So next weekend we're going to try and fix the hearing aid lah into her ears. So hopefully she will be more aware of her surrounding. But until such time, this few months that she start losing her hearing, her hearing because of the she's having dementia and Alzheimer. And so now we communicate by writing lah. So she reads well, so not a problem. But other than that, but I can see lah, once you cannot hear, she's not always very jolly like
Yes.
what she is, yeah, because she can't hear the music, she can't dance, sometimes she was wondering what we're talking about and all that, she felt like left out, yeah. So that's why I think it's important to have her name. But other than that, she's healthy. October I think 14 ni dia mak will turn kalau Chinese she's 90 ya, 90 years old. Because dia dalam perut sudah kira setahun kan, so 90 years old. Kalau tidak dia 89 lah.
I realized that she loves this Piramli song Gelora and loves the music.
Because she and my father before got many Gelora story lah. That one another drama too, She want to marry because she's Nyonya Chinese peranakan, her family all against her and all that. She got to go and stay with my other auntie, leave the house, and my grandfather disown her, then my grandmother secretly go and find her way to go and meet her and all that. So my father's auntie was the one who married my mother and convert her to Muslim. And then, after that, they left. I was only like 2-3 years old, went from Singapore to Malaysia. My father left the Royal Singapore Air Force and then to join the Royal Malaysian Air Force because at that time was Merdeka kan, 1950, 57, then 58 I was born.
How did you end up growing up in Felda scheme?
After 40 over years, my father was a mechanic in the Tentera Udara Malaysia, TUDM, the Royal Malaysian Air Force. And then my father one day was offered to kind of like semi-retire a bit early, like I forgot 45, 40 something, So then he was offered this Tanah Felda because kebetulan at that time the government wants to not hand over lah, but let us run all this Felda scheme where everyone is given 14 acres of land and then you got to work your ass off and then pay lah. Dalam 14 tahun tu bayar hutang balik kepada Felda lah. So after 38 years, kita habis bayar hutang semua, kita dapat grant. So when my father didn't want at that time, tak tahulah nak ambil ke tidak, was talking. I tell my father, ya, ambil lah. Kita adik-beradik ramai, 9 orang. Dengan mak ayah 9 orang. Kita pun, bukan ada masuk gaji ayah pun kecil. Nanti kalau ayah pencen, ayah tak fikir ke pencen nak buat apa benda. Ayah nak jadi jaga ke, sekolah ke, nak jadi apa, mekanik kan kerja susah. Ayah bukan muda lagi-lagi itu. Kalau kita masuk Felda sekarang, kita kerja, dalam berapa tahun saya dapat hasil tu kita punya. Tanah-tanah kita punya dah tentu kita dapat itu tanah. Sebab apa? Sambil kita kerja, sambil kita bayar tanah. Jadi bila lama-lama habis, jadilah tanah kita. I kata, so my father kata, korang sanggup ke? Duduk Felda tu bukan senang tau, susah, tak sama macam lifestyle macam anak askar. Kan? And then kita semua sanggup lah. Then bila kita sampai sana, kita tengok rumah kampung macam rumah Felda kecil, keluar pintu, masuk pintu like that, And 9 of us have to sleep like opening a can of sardine. Then we begin to realize how life is going to be really tough for us, but then, life is a challenge. Life is also one huge sacrifice. All of us made many sacrifices to work together as family, tanam sayur to make ends meet lah, macam-macam, all that. So in the end, we got out from poverty. Alhamdulillah.
So those was very tough years for you.
Oh, tell me about it. It was tough because it was tough even from the very beginning because, at a young age, as most people know my story, you know, I go out, you know, at 8, 9 years old to all the military barrack to sell macam-macam kuih kan. Menyaga, so I have to help my mother balik sekolah buat kuih macam-macam. Pagi sekolah dah buat, bangun pukul 4 pagi buat 400, 300 bungkus nasi lemak. Duduk depan gate sekolah menyaga nasi lemak, you know, balik lagi jaga adik, makan semua, tolong mak, lepas tu tolong jual kuih lagi sampai petang pukul 6. Balik rumah pula pukul 6, pukul 7, pukul 8 is very daily routine for me to go into the bilik mandi and giling all the chili, you know. Maybe I kecil je kan, tapi that's why you see my muscle here. Until now I have my muscle, you know. Look at that, giling chili aja tau. Giling chili, sap, zam, all peluk, all sweat. That's why they say my mother sambal tumis is the number 1 sedap. Cukup masam. Cukup mak kau punya sambal tumis cukup masam. Yelah, semua air kepala aku, bulu ketiak aku semua masuk dalam tu. Basah kan in those days. I tell you, you know, I never forget
Makan
that.
pun berpeluh-peluh.
Pakai pagoda bukan ada aircon. Dulu tak ada mesin tau. Dulu tak ada mesin. Semua nak buat you
Guling
must
aja.
grind. Pakai bowl, pakai apa. Mas ni kan semua. Not easy ya. Kita buat kuih pakai tepung beras pun pakai bowl semua. Sampai daripada pagi buat kerja. It's hard. Buat kuih talam, kuih apa punya. I ingat lagi dulu. It's very tough. But because that's the one that taught us to be disciplined. That's the one that taught us to organize our time, what to do and all that to get. Then that also teach us also to get other help from adik-beradik. We work as a family together to do this, to do that. So as the child grew up, my sister doing the sambal, I do this. I kacau ni, bungkus, I cut the newspaper, potong daun pisang, all that. So everyone is working, you know. So that's why kalau dulu kita boleh report labor department, I ingat my parents sudah kena tangkap, masuk jail lah. But that's exactly. Dulu kita susah, kita don't care. Yang most important kita care is that we get food to the table. Tak ada complain pun. Kita kerja. But people forget, those were the time that actually made us much stronger. So that's why I always say in my Instagram, what doesn't kill you will always, you know, make you stronger. Send me the challenges.
Datuk, who is instrumental in teaching you these cooking skills?
I think it started dari awal, even for my mother and my grandmother. Because my mother is, you know, there's like already 7 of us kan. And I am the eldest. So every year my mother would give birth. Beranak. Because those days Datuk tak ada television. Itu saja entertainment diorang lah. Touch and go. Only one room. All the children must come out. So the parent do their own thing. Bang. Whatever. And those days you can hear because the bed all like katil askar besi. So we all sit out there like, ayo bila mau habis kan. So sudah habis semua kan kita dengar. Then kita all go back to the room to sleep. You know. So that's why I always tell all this military. Alo, for God's sake, please lah give 2 room lah. You know, 2 room to all the yang bawah-bawah ni kan. Because they're very orang kata very ni lah, you know, busy at night. So that's why I remember, so bila mak dalam confinement ke apa, so I was like 9, 10 years old also, already learn how to jaga adik-adik, basuh kain baju, buat adik-adik makan, kadang-kadang mak pergi adik hantar klinik, pergi apa, buat kuih, tolong mak. So everybody have to chip in lah. Otherwise, you know, those days we don't have a maid, matilah, you know, mak to handle everything kan. So we all were taught different responsibility. Even my father sometimes come back also. My father would cook, you know, he has his lunchtime that he would come back and check if the children are in order or whatever. Kalau my mother is doing something or my mother have to go something ke, so they make plan. Okay, my father will come back sekejap, you know, to relieve her while you know my mother goes, you know, to the women's club to learn cooking ke apa, whatever on let's say on certain weekend. My father have to work, so my father take part-time job as well. I remember, you know, belah malam menyaga mi rebus dekat ini askar punya kan, all the bar, they have the bar, so kita jual macam-macam malam-malam juga. Kadang-kadang orang beli, you know, mi rebus, mi siam, laksa, and then belah siang pun buat kuih. So we constantly, the kitchen is like berasap lah, you know, all the time. Sentiasa ada je benda yang kita buat. So that's why daripada kecil I belajar to do simple thing, nasi goreng, sambal tumis, goreng ikan, masak kicap, benda-benda, all the basic things so that, you know, we can survive. Yeah? So that has taught me also how to be very systematic, when time to study, when to buat homework, bila balik sekolah nak tolong mak, nak potong apa, daun pisang, nak bungkus nasi lemak, nak buat sambal, bila masa nak menggiling, you know. So I never had time for myself to play game. Sampai hari ni I tak tahu tendang bola. Because I've never been on the football field. You know, it feels so strange, you know, when the cikgu panggil I main bola, I'm like standing there in front of nobody. I feel lost. Because I letak itu bola pun tak tahu macam mana tendang. Because tak ada masa. Kita duduk rumah itulah kan, layan-layan adik. Never had our own game or whatever, you know. So you work and and then at night you were tired and then that's it. So that's why I learned. And then even when I went to Singapore, during the school holiday, sometimes my parents bawa, you know, when I was besar sikit, I used to go on my own also, pun ada setahun dua tahun tu. And then my grandmother would always take me to the market, and apa ni, they call my grandmother Bibik Nyo. So she take me to all the market, and she would buy all this, and she show me lah all the nyonya punya resipi, masak ini, buat itu, buat apa. So at that young age, I was always been exposed to all this, but you cannot help it also to be a very hardworking boy lah. Because if you're lazy, you're lazy. But I think God has given me this brain, and God's telling me like, work. If you want something, you have to work for it. So that's how I was constantly working. And then bila jual kuih balik nanti, mak nanti kasih duit, like 5 sen, masuk dalam tabung, I can save. And then even now, when I went to work in the military barrack, in my kuih, always finish very fast because I try to sell my kuih really fast. Because for me, time is money. Cepat jual kuih, tapi macam mana nak cepat jual kuih kecil tu? Kuih kena sedap. Kuih kena ada the best quality. Kalau kuih kita sedap, mak, quality bagus, harga berpatutan, semua orang akan beli. Because itulah jenama mak, Cik Ani punya karipap, Cik Ani punya kuih koci, Cik Ani punya kuih apam. It's a brand. The Cik Ani is the brand. So that's why my mother always have to call me, mak, kita try ni. Mak kata, kau ni kan berapa kali nak buat karipap, nak tukar-tukar resipi ni. Mak, ini resipi boleh buat better. Because ini makcik, saya pergi rumah, petang-petang duduk rumah makcik ni buat karipap sedap. Kita belajar pada dia macam mana buat kulit tu. Kulit tu macam siput lah, kulit tu berlapis lah dalam. Pergi belajar. Mak kata, mak tak ada masa, kau pergi belajar. So I went there lah. So bila on weekend, makcik-makcik Esa ke makcik Kia, makcik Beda, I call it all the like I use in my cooking show. Masak, I selalu tumpang. Makcik, boleh belajar, tolong buat kuih. Yang kau nak belajar, masih. Budak ni rajin lah nak belajar. So bila duduk, then I realise, kalau kita ni manusia yang jenis rajin, apa pun kita boleh melalui. Nak belajar. That's why the masalah sekarang dalam selalu kita tengok manusia ni, sikap yang pemalas. Bila kita sikap pemalas, satu benda pun tak jadi. Tak? Satu benda pun tak jadi. Tapi kalau kita nak berusaha, nak berjaya, semua pun boleh buat. You can reach anything up to the sky boleh buat. Roket pun orang pergi beli bulan, kan? Boleh pergi ke bulan. So that's why I always believe it's all about kita punya attitude, to be successful. So dari kecil, saya dilatih untuk bekerja. So when I went to even the military camp, I try to sell between 3 o'clock sampai pukul 4:30, 1 jam setengah, habis karipap 500 kuih koci, habis. Karipap, kuih koci, karipap, macam-macam kuih lah. Jadi kan, laku. And how I jual ini laku kat barrack ni, budak-budak semua nak pergi jumpa, diingatkan, semua budak-budak ni kadang-kadang diingatkan macam pergi itu mess ada pangkat pilot, lieutenant, pangkat tinggi-tinggi, diorang ingat banyak duit lah. Mesti beli banyak. Tapi diorang semua makan sikit saja. Kan? Tapi kalau you tengok ini yang kuli-kuli bawah ni, yang macam last corporal, all the private ni semua yang hari-hari kawat, marching left, right, sweat like crazy, like all their half brain all melted out, and they are all, starving. And sekali dia masuk mulut, sekali makan karipap 10, 20 pun sekali dia boleh beli bila ada duit. I've seen they eat 20 of my karipap. I stand there looking at the guy munching one after another, and until he burp, then only he pay me. So can you imagine a person have swallowed like 20 karipap all at once? Saya kata, dia ni macam ular sawa pula Cik Leman ni kan. Sebab apa tau? Dia punya perut pun dah sampai macam ni. Because you know why? Dia lapar. So that's why you is better off with all these kind of people. Because one time one person eat 20 karipap, if 5% is already 100 karipap. You sell je. And sometimes some all these, dia abang sibuk, kau save tak? Besok I bayar. So I ada buku 35 pula, I ajar hutang. Siapa? Cik Kasim, Cik Leman, Cik Leong ke siapa-siapa. Saya tinggal dekat katil dia apa semua. Ambil order. Kadang besok belum, dia nak apa, dah ambil order in advance. Then I can sell more. So I always think in advance. So even dulu pun kan, as a child, I was smart. Because why? To have orang tak ada duit, kita kasih hutang. Cukup bulan kita duduk dekat depan pintu, kutip duit tadi. Dia dekat itu barang askar sudah kutip duit, no? So I keep account of who eat, how much and all that, they sign. Every time they makan, they sign. Tak ada gaji, tak dapat gaji, baru bayar hutang. So this is something yang I learn at that time, even to improve on mak punya kuih. Mak ni hari ni kita taruh daging lebih. Mak kata kau ni lama-lama bankrupt. Semua nak mak taruh macam-macam, jual. Nak sedap je. Mestilah kita jual orang makan, mesti mau sedap. Memang dia kata ini kita menyaga lah. Menyaga pun menyaga juga. Tapi at the end of the day, yang nak bawa kuih karipap beratur-ratur ni siapa? Saya. Yang nak jual ni saya. Yang susah siapa? Saya. Yang tak sedap kalau orang nak maki, nak marah pun saya. Bukan mak. Mak duduk rumah diam-diam. I fight with my mother all the time. My mother like headache, So every time sometimes dia taruh isi daging setengah kilo, dia tak nampak, I buka fridge, I potong-potong lagi, dia pergi mandi, cebok adik ke mandi adik ke apa, salin baju, petang, I masuk itu inti, taruh lagi. Sekali besok dia tengok, mana pergi daging mak setengah kilo? Sudah masuk dalam. Because kau ni kan nak bagi orang makan nak sedap aja. I never forget that, memang dia kata. Mestilah.
Datuk,
Nak meniaga, nak jual orang makan, you must deliver nothing but the best. Nothing but the best. Otherwise, don't do it. Don't do it. I tell this the same thing. I tell the same thing to all my chefs. If you don't have that, walk out from the kitchen. Keluar, keluar. You don't deserve to be inside here.
Dato, you have cooked all kinds of food. You're able to cook all kinds of food. But personally, what is your favorite food or your favorite foods?
Actually kan, I ni very simple tau. Because tahulah kita ni dah biasa susah kan. Kadang-kadang bila saya tak ada banyak masa pun, I can easily, easily survive with, fried rice. I like pun nasi lemak, kuih tiaw macam Malaysian kuih tiaw ya. Kalau makan hari-hari suka macam hari-hari, I suka macam kari ayam, kari ikan. I like asam pedas, Malaysian. And if you go out, I also like, sometimes like, the what you call Cantonese fried noodle. I like the Penang, Hokkien mee. Yeah? I suka that. And other thing like, rojak. Kalau pergi kat luar pun I suka rojak buah, I suka pasembur. These are all Malaysian punya kata famous dishes kan. This rendang I like to do also. So other than that, I try to eat something very simple lah, kat rumah. But I still do pasta occasionally, Western memang ada lah, stew and all that, sometimes it's just a fried fish, we just boil potato, roast pun boleh juga, but other than that, I don't eat very much lah in the sense that kita don't have a lot of dishes, because kalau kita makan satu lauk, there's only satu sayur and then some nasi, or we eat chapati ke bread ke something like that, So I'm not very picky about my food. I really, usually people were thinking, hey, because you're a chef or you're Chef Wan, people think that I'm very picky, but that's so wrong. Because I learned one thing in life, that anything that comes at the table for me, unless it's salty or it's tasteless or ni, I have to be very grateful, because I come from the dirt, we had nothing before, kita makan pucuk ubi, tak ada ikan, kadang-kadang daging 6 bulan sekali pun tak nampak dekat Felda. So I went through that journey and all that, adik-adik ramai pun kadang-kadang lagi 1 minggu nak gaji, mak dalam wallet, dalam bag dia tinggal 15 sen. I tengok when my mother sit down crying, like how to feed the whole family when there's only left, 15 sen dalam purse. And then I still remember my mother buka cupboard, makan all the ration askar-askar, pergi rumah jiran, kadang-kadang pinjam terung ke, kadang-kadang kita ada tanam sayur, kita exchange sayur dengan telur ke, ubi kentang ke. Sometimes kita pergi also minta minyak 1 cawan, things like that, gula ke, beras pun pernah pinjam and all that. I went through that, I went through that, So one thing I learned in life, dari dulu sampai sekarang, it takes so little to be happy, Like I always say, you can wear 1 ring, you can wear 1 watch, you can live in 1 house, you can drive only 1 car at one time. Makan pun lagi tua, lagi kita berumur, lagi sikit kita makan, kan? Dah tak banyak. So I've been through life, Let's put this way lah, I've traveled the whole world, I've eaten the best food in the world. So that's why the more I see the world, the more I become whatever lah, I don't want to say I become rich or become popular or become famous or become whatever. The more I enjoy so-called orang kata better lifestyle, whatever ni, the more I begin to learn to say, hey, actually it's nice to be just humble, makan kat rumah. So that's why orang yang tak dapat menikmati kesenangan dan kemewahan ni kadang-kadang terfikir-fikir juga. Mereka juga mahu menikmati. Tak salah untuk menikmati itu semua, tapi tak juga kita kerugian dengan apa yang kita ada, makan. Kita belajar bersyukur, learn to be thankful to God Almighty, to Allah for that. And I think what is most important, to also have a lot of gratitude, kindness, and then compassion and empathy. Learn to be a very giving person, a loving person. Learn to spread love, because food is love. But other than that, sometimes it's good to have a bit, a little, not to have too much, because sometimes too much also can ruin, because kita dah open to all this sifat kata lust, and then kita greed, tamak. Bila kita dah ni, itu yang manusia lupa diri, nak kaya lagi, nak famous lagi, nak makan. I don't know. For me, I learn every day in my life, bersyukurlah pada sometimes kari ikan ke kari ayam, satu minggu 3 kali makan, okey. 3 kali makan. Hari makan nasi, lagi 2 hari dalam fridge bawa microwave, mangkat capati pun makan. Sometimes just like that dengan bread pun makan juga pun boleh hidup. Satu buah, perut kenyang, alhamdulillah. Tapi kalau orang minta nak bantuan, nak saudara, kita nak tolong, kawan-kawan mana perlu duit, mana yang kita rasa kita boleh bantu, kita bantulah. Kan, of course kita tak boleh bantu semua orang. Hari ni macam-macam orang DM dekat I, nak pinjam duit. Bukan saya tak baca semua. Kadang-kadang I wonder like why lah all these people. Nak pinjam orang duit ada kereta. Nak pinjam orang duit ada ni ada. Sometimes they should forgo their lifestyle kan. Kalau rumah tak ada ni, then downgrade, pergilah sewa kan. Kereta tak payah naik kereta, naik Grab. Saya pun biasa naik Grab sampai 1 tahun kan. So downgrade lah kan. Tak susah. Tapi tak ada pergi pinjam duit, pinjam sana menyusahkan diri. Tak boleh pulangkan balik, orang cerita tak bagus kan. So that's why kita lawan lah. Kita kawal lah. Hawa nafsu kita, makan. Takkan mati dia kan. Orang susah macam dapat roti dengan air pun boleh kenyang. Betul tak? Kita tak berapa, kita berpuasa, satu hari tak ada duit ni. Kita berpuasa. Macam kita kat Mekah berpuasa. Tiba time buka puasa, kita makan 1 pisang, makan 2 korma pun kita sudah, alhamdulillah. Kenyang tau. You be so surprised. Tapi that's why kita belajarlah kontrol hawa nafsu kita kan. Makan has to do with hawa nafsu kan. Hawa nafsu ni macam-macam kan. The same thing. Lagi apa mau tanya Datuk Seri? Dah kering tekak aku macam ni.
We will have one last question.
Last question, 1 hour dia. I thought you give me 2 hours to talk.
Before we wrap this up,
You imagine if I jadi senator, masuk itu parlimen, orang lain tak boleh cakap. That's why they never offer me. If I go inside there to fight for Malaysia, they can never talk, man.
You will out-talk them.
Yes.
Okay, last question, Dato'. You have been a celebrity. You are now a celebrity, chef. What is your advice to young Malaysians who wants to open a restaurant because they feel that it's glamour to have a restaurant? It feels good, but they can't cook. They have never served before. They have never been a waiter before, but they feel that I must get some money from my papa to open a restaurant, an Italian restaurant or a French restaurant, so it looks good. What is your advice to them?
Ayo, mati. I've seen many of them, and then before you know, everything all gulung tikar. Bankrupt, okay? So that's why, you see, berniaga ni like any business lah kan. You have to know what is your business plan. Number 1, your target. So you kena survey dulu, tengok how many restaurant. Does that area really need another Italian restaurant or Nyonya restaurant or whatever restaurant? Because competitor banyak. So why compete with everyone selling like gerai? Sometimes kita tengok kan tom yum, pening kepala. Masuk satu macam tak ada benda lain orang menjaga tom yum kat Malaysia ni tu kan. Padahal macam-macam ada. Kenapa kita tak jual benda lain kan? So that's why you need to have something yang lain lah. And then you need to survey the market dulu, you need to study the business plan, you need to also have a certain amount of budget, and then you need to also understand, kalau kita tak ada juga, kita tak ada pengalaman ni, kita can always still become the financer. Kau jadi CEO company ke apa, managing director of the business pun boleh juga. But you must have some business sense. If you don't have the business sense, duit bapak engkau tinggi macam gunung pun esok boleh habis. Okay? So might as well. Tapi habis tu will come down also with a lot of stress tau. Because stress, chef lari lah, don't know how to manage lah. Orang maki kau, restoran kau. Hari-hari you dengar complain. Tak tahu sikit hari buka pintu tengok lu sudah gantung diri lah. You already hang up there, your wall lah. So you might better off take this money, kasih air lalu buang dalam longkang. At least buang dalam longkang itu bapak punya duit sudah jalan. Jadi kepala you pun tak ada itu stress hari-hari. Come to meeting dengar because you have to answer every single cent that money you spend. Not only the money that you spend but also the stress that come with opening of restaurant. So restaurant business is not for everybody. Janganlah ingat nak glamour saja. I have a restaurant anak menteri ni yang cakap you, okay? I don't want to mention lah anak menteri mana. Dia dah hari-hari datang belanja like crazy, buka wine, belanja kawan ciak sana ciak ni. Cukup 1 tahun bankrupt itu restaurant. Because dia tak tahu berapa masuk, tak tahu berapa. Dia punya bapak pula bagi gaji anak dia sampai 30-40 ribu. Dia ingat datang dari mana. So the restaurant is like macam kasih image lah. So how long can the restaurant run like that? Kan it's a business. Lama-lama you siphon pun habis juga duit kan tinggi gunung. So sampai father dah fed up in the end, tutup itu business.
Guru tika.
Yeah, cannot because you know you have to have all that and then you have to understand the menu, you kena ada F&B, punya business ni, you kena understand food costs, everything lah kan dalam tu and then you know but also you must understand a bit about food as well, what you eat and the people yang you nak bawa also the team yang kerja tu juga very important. You need a pool of talented, experienced people to work inside all that kan and then the restaurant baru run properly and then location. The idea of opening restaurant people must remember is not about what they want. Never. Lu mau apakah, what you feel ke apa, is not about you. It's about what the people around there yang nak datang come to the restaurant, what they want to eat and what they want to see. Like when I see house, you know, Bangi is going to revolve, ini family punya. They all can come. Because why? Chef Wan is Chef Wan name, tapi food kena sedap. Food kena sedap. Kalau sedap orang ludah, orang maki, apa ni chef celebrity, chef number one, orang kata all this, all bullshit. You know, tapi pergi makan tak sedap kan? Apa malu juga muka kan? So that's why I always tell the people, budak-budak jangan kasih sampai saya malu lah. That's why kita train and then let them do what to do. So that's why all these restaurant pun semua, you have a brand, you have this, you create, but the rest is all about business sense. Very important to understand the books, account. Sometimes budak-budak ni nak account pun tak tahu. They don't know what operating expenses, dia tak tahu apa pun semua. So, macam mana kan? So that's why tak boleh. Orang nak menyaga, awak nak menyaga. Awak nak menjaga satu apa pun tak tahu. So macam mana tu? Ya, sanitation, food hygiene, kena faham juga sama ada your chef ni beli barang-barang ni betul ke tak, tengok harga, overpriced ke tidak ya. Kadang-kadang kita hari-hari beli barang, lepas tu chef ada juga yang hire chef yang tak ada business sense, tak ada pergi culinary school, tak ada diploma jadi chef, tak ada. Daripada bawah, kan? Dia tahu barang sampai dia masak, lebih dia buang. The food waste masuk tong sampah punya banyaklah. Sebab nak senangkan dia ni, dia beli barang-barang. Bau busuk buang. So in the end, your food waste, oh my God, all going into the rubbish, kan? But if you don't check that, you don't know. And then you wondering, how come restaurant, berapa banyak aja kita punya jualan hari ni? Hari-hari cuma dapat 3,000 aja. Tapi food cost, alamak, kan? Dia tak faham. Padahal sudah buang itu tong sampah. Dia ada tengok, dia tak ada tengok. And dia ingat nanti chef tu tipu kamu. So there are many things that you have to see, kan? In terms of mismanaging a restaurant. True enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Chef Wan, for sharing and taking your time off today from your Bangi restaurant and other restaurants to be with us. Appreciate very much. Good luck to everything you have done and continue to speak up for Malaysians.
Sorry, I get a bit excited.
Thank you so much. To all my followers, please don't forget to like, follow, and share Real Chunwai on Facebook. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good evening, Dato' Sri. Ayo, thank you so much to you too.
Okay. Are you ready?